It just doesn't have a long history, so it gives me a great chance to show you different tactics with all your stuff. So, you guys can all see me in that picture, right? Orange, red, and yellow. So pretty cool stuff. Everything around me should be blue and black. That means those are the coldest areas inside that camera right then. It's spring break week. It's going to feel like I'm shouting at you this first 10 minutes. So what this is going to do is what we're looking for, those blue and black spots to kind of move on their own. So if we take me out of the picture, you guys can see that the orange, red, and yellow goes somewhere else, aside from my arm that's in the corner. But with that said, we want to try to keep a person because we're going to be the warmest things out here. So really what we're looking for is something, you know, blue or black to kind of cross over something orange, red, or yellow. So when we catch those things, it's amazing. And do I catch stuff like that every night? I don't, but it's at the ready. So, was it Kevin?
Yeah.
Look at me. I remembered a character. So you're going to hold that horizontal all night long.
All right.
The orange square that you see, that means it's recording.
Okay.
So if it turns to a circle, just tap it and let me know. That means I just have to splice some video together.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to be using several different types of spirit boxes tonight. So spirit boxes are interesting. This one in particular, I guess the first question is, who doesn't know what a spirit box is? Okay, we got a couple. I only need one that doesn't know. So spirit boxes sweep through FM radio stations at a very quick rate. On your TV shows, it's that white static noise, and then Zach Bagans tells you what he thinks he wants you to hear, kind of thing. I make fun of Zach all night, so you guys are ready for that, I hope. This one is a little different. It's going to give you white static, but it is sweeping through the radio stations, and I have it slowed down. I want the radio chatter to come through. I want the song lyrics, the DJs, the commercials. If you can make something out, it's a 50-50 shot. We can tie it to a location that we're standing in, or something nearby, the person I'm talking about, or something going on with one of us. Now, this one records. The cool thing is when it's recording, it records just the radio sweep. No outside noise, even when it's on mute. So when I give you back the recording tomorrow, so if I'm telling stories and you guys have it down in volume, we're going to be able to tell what that was tomorrow morning. Does that make sense to everybody? So, pretty simple. I'm not hearing anything, so I'm going to pass this off. As you get, since we have groups of 11 spirit boxes, we're going to go to groups of 2 so you guys can verify. Pick your partner.
You want to go with him? That way he's not by himself? I mean, it don't matter to me.
Do you want your arm or you want to go?
All right. You have one button. At the very top, there's a wheel. It controls the volume. So don't hit the button. That'll shut it off. But there's a wheel right next to it.
You better hold.
All right. I like to get all the spirit boxes out since we're all talking about them right now. We'll do them all at once. So this one is very popular. It's like the one you see on TV. I just have a speaker attached to it so we can actually hear it. It just doesn't record. So I definitely put 2 people on this guy just because I need them to definitely verify what they're listening to. So take the College of Charleston ladies. It's all about you guys. There is a volume button on the side of the speaker on your right hand side. Hold it up to turn the volume up, hold it down to turn the volume down. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. Last but not least, another spirit box on a cell phone. Yes, it's an app. So, does it actually work? I will tell you that. Let me show you how it works first. It's going to give us a word from time to time in the middle of the screen, and then it's going to save all those words to a list. And you guys are going to get the full list back. Here's what I'm going to tell you about the list. Wow, it's really loading because I must have had it running on my desk. So, I'm going to clear theirs out, the last 4 that I did, and start you guys off fresh. You guys will get the full list, but the list, 80% of it doesn't mean anything. It's meant to be a game. I just want you guys to all realize there's no dowsing rods or any manual tools I'm going to be handing out tonight. Everything is electronic on purpose. So again, with that being said, this particular list, I'm always going to give you a backlink of why a word or phrase is relevant. So with that said, I will give you the full list and put those words in bold that are relevant and then give you the reason why with another outside source. So I need you to say a few words tonight. So that one's going to go to you because you haven't said a word other than your name. So, where are we now?
Be careful. If you get her started talking, you may not get her to stop.
That's okay. Sorry, I'm just thinking, because this is a weird balance. I'm just trying to make sure everybody's going to be good to go. All right, EMF detectors, these are pretty common on TV. This is the same one they use on TV, and they use this specific one on purpose because it's very sensitive. So it measures 3 different types of electromagnetic fields. They never explain what they actually do. They just wait for anything and then say, look, a ghost. So first one's natural, comes from the earth. That's why it's not doing anything. The next one's going to be from electronic devices like your cell phone or parking meters or wiring from a building. It's going to make it go into a rhythm. We're going to be able to see a pulse out of it. We want this thing to go erratic. Absolutely bonkers. When it does that, we obviously have something going on. So, Mom, I think that's going to go to you. That's going to kind of help out with where she's going to be able to ask questions at.
Okay.
I got a whole Santa Claus bag here, guys. Hang on. All right. This is the neuralizer for Men in Black. I need all of us there right here. It's a grid pen. Oh, we're going to have to get new batteries. So, what does it do? You guys can obviously see the dots on the ground. I don't care about those dots. I care about what passes through it that we can't see with the naked eye. So, really cool stuff. It is way brighter than that, so you guys see how it dimmed right away? It is super bright when I get fresh batteries in there, which I'll do at the first location. So, really cool stuff. I also have this one. Make sure it's going to flash me in the face. So this one gives me red squares. So why do I want red squares and green dots? When I catch something here, I can put it in 3D software, and then you guys have a full 3D view of what I caught. How cool is that? So both lasers go to the same person. Lasers get Nick in a lot of trouble. They stay on the ground.
No, you couldn't follow that direction.
So, I know, it's a lot. So, I don't hand this to teenagers because they don't know what it is, okay? So, you're going to be the other partner that helps with this guy. Because go ahead and flash one of those down for me.
Oh.
There's one button right there. So, when you're flashing that down, it's not going to say, hey, hurry up, take a picture, I'm right here, oh, I'm gone. It's going to be quick. So, you're literally going to be taking hundreds of pictures at waist level. And there's no flash on this guy because we don't want any false positives. So it's just going to be the things that, like, we're not going to be able to see what's on there until tomorrow morning. If you catch something in real life, awesome. Doesn't happen very often. So on and off button and a shoot button. That's all you. All right. Because I got them all squared away. All right, so where are my people without devices? So that would be you. You definitely need something. I think you guys are square, right? And you. So you're going to be a big help too. I have a very complicated device.
All right.
It's new. So it does multiple things. So the first thing that it does is that it measures ambient temperature. So that way when Kevin catches something here, then we can see if it's an actual entity or not. So I'm going to go over all of these numbers with you individually at the first location. The second thing that it does is it has an EMF detector built into it, just like hers. Okay, so I'll go over that with you. The really exciting thing about this guy is that it's a REM pod, so it detects motion. So around this antenna, I told you, it's really complicated. Around this antenna is an EMF field. If something breaks that EMF field, it will go off. The closer it gets to that antenna, the higher the numbers will go. Okay, so again, it's super annoying on your recording, so we'll use that at specific locations only, and when we're kind of practicing with it. I've only had this guy for about 3 weeks, so again, still learning more and more about it. I've watched tons of things about this already, but leave this clip open so you can access that button on the back easy. I'll go over the more detail with that as we move along. So when I have groups of 11, I break out everything. So you are kind of like the catch-all of the last bit of everything. Okay, so we have 2 things. First off, is this mom, dad, and kids? Yes. Is that the dynamic? Okay, so you're going to be helping dad out with trying to figure out what some of the temperatures are that he's looking at. You have a laser too, so I want you to keep that in mind. We all know what this guy is, right? So it's surface temperature. Was it Paul?
Yep.
So Paul has ambient temperature. So in the event that Kevin sees something on the camera, we can determine if it's an object or if it's the airspace. Does that make sense? So you have the gun, and you're going to be kind of helping out with certain things with the camera. So at times, this guy gives us a little bit of night vision. So in certain areas, we can use this guy, again, pointed low into the ground. It does have a full spectrum light on it. Do you guys see the red dots on the front of that guy? The camera doesn't pick that up very well. So we're not so much worried about that until I update the camera. This light is relatively new as well. So you're kind of the catch-all last bit of helping everybody. So you can almost pocket the light. You have a pocket. You can even put it in a pocket of your purse if that's fine. But it's more about that laser dot, and then I'll say, hey, where's that night light vision kind of thing going on? You guys literally have everything out of my bag. All right. Feel free to kind of intermingle your devices within your party. I'm okay with that. Again, just if you're going to pass off lasers to teenagers like I just did over there, just please be mindful of that. So it's a pretty big deal. Nick can go away in handcuffs. So yeah, huge deal. So we start here for a reason, guys. This place is haunted. That's why we come here. Right. So, and it's also out of the way of all the other tourists, so I don't, interrupt them. This place used to be called Big John's. Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. He used to sit in the back of the bar and tell the bartender if the cadets coming over were legally aged to drink. One night, two guys come in, they're not of legal age. Big John tells the bartender to get them out of here. They leave, pretty angry. They come back the next night and they try to steal the cash register from the bar. I heard a gasp, which is awesome. It means I'm a great storyteller. Did you guys catch that gasp? Sorry, catching my breath anyway. It was a good segue. So anyway, Big John gets in a big bar fight with these guys, and he's beating them up on the ground, and a couple shots were fired. John gets hit in the neck. The bullet ricochets and goes into the wall. He gets back up, and he goes back to the bar, and tells the bartender, get him another beer, and get the guys on the floor, an ambulance. Now, nobody died in that story, so what's haunting the place? It's the bullet. It's allegedly still here. There's John's blood on it. They're renovating the place, so once they're finished, I'll have to go in and go searching for a bullet hole. But people that sit in the front of the bar get a little dizzy, queasy, nauseous. These are heated warnings for us. Anybody feels any of those things, I need to know immediately. Again, this isn't a scary tour, but I have to kind of put that out there. So I won't say that people haven't passed out from too much activity. So let's get our minds off our own health, right? So there was a big earthquake here. That's happy, right? So 1886, 7.3 Richter scale, at least that we know of, because Richter wasn't invented yet. But a piece of the mantling that's on the building is also in the front. In the front of the building, a piece of that mantle broke off and allegedly hit somebody in the head and killed them from that earthquake. It's also, allegedly, the first death from that earthquake. So I say all this allegedly because I have no proof. I will tell you guys when I have absolute proof of something. This is just a story to get your mind that you might get sick from my tour. That's a laugh. Chuckle, chuckle. All right. Are you guys tired of hearing me talk yet? I hope not, because we got about another hour and a half to go. So let's go ghost hunting. We're going to go this way.
This problem's walking in the dark, Kingston.
Oh no, we walked over to our hotel's all the way up on.
Oh, yeah. I will tell you, we end, the tour as far as length is not that long because we spend time in each location, not just listening to stories, but in actual investigating.
So I can put the guy down and we're
Yeah,
investigating. Okay.
Right. So, I mean, it's literally we're going to spend 5 to 10 minutes in certain spots and then kind of move on.
Perfect.
And then I even have a little segue where I give you guys breaks because you're employees tonight. So, all right. So welcome to the Big Red Barn Lot. I want you guys to first off get used to parking lots. It is a favorite of mine only because parking lots allow us to explore. So when I was setting this up, it was all about, I don't care that there's a certain steeple or this, that, or the other. It was what's actually haunted and what has a story. Welcome to your first story. The big red barn lot is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. You guys can probably smell the ponies. I can't. So I come here every night, so I can't smell them anymore. The horses are inside the barn. So this is an absolute no laser on the building. We can use them in the lot, but not on the building. And we don't want to have our spirit boxes so loud here that we're spooking the ponies. So the history here is very simple. This is the same red barn lot that we had horses that delivered milk to Charleston. 1860s and 1920s. That's about it. So this is a great haunted spot because we're going to hopefully make some contact with Big John and his teammates and maybe something about this big red barn. So let's talk about your spirit boxes. So first off, I want you to think of your entire time with me as kind of a training course. Okay, so this is your novice level. Everybody can agree that the barn is red, right? So your spirit boxes, this isn't first off, is somebody here? Because if they answer no, that means somebody's here. So it's a definitive answer, right? But if you hear the word houses or on a real estate commercial, you think you heard yes. We're going to stay away from yes and no questions all night long. So the barn is red. If somebody's hanging out with us, please tell us what color that barn is. You're going to listen for the color red for about 15, 20 seconds or so. Also keep in mind, you're listening for radio stations and DJs. They're not always going to say the color red, but they might give you an answer of something that is specifically red, like a fire truck. The word heart has come up here before. These are things that are specifically red. What color is the barn? Fire truck. Makes sense, right? It's all about putting those clues together. So in the event you don't get an answer after a few tries, and even on the digital word spirit box that you have, Maddie, and did I get the kids mixed up?
You got it.
I got it? Look at me. That's like, what, 3 for 3? On it. All right, so Maddie, you're going to be doing the same thing. Just looking for those clues. But if you don't get an answer, what's inside the barn is your next question, okay? And I'm just giving you inspiration. Do whatever you want, but these are kind of how this should go. Now you've just opened it up. They're animals, they're horses, they're draft horses, because that's their breed, carriages, anything that relates to horses. So again, but they also, I told you specifically that they delivered milk to Charleston. So milk and calcium, I've had the word calcium show up here before, but they also delivered eggs. So I've had eggs and protein show up before. With anything about Big John's teammates, you usually get a jersey number and a first name. So jersey numbers are usually 1 to 2 digits, correct? So even if you hear a phone number coming through, call 843. We have the numbers 8 and 4 and 4 and 3. So your spirit boxes will slow down. It's going to pick up a little bit extra. Later on, we might get a name. So if the number 84 was Art Faircloth, boom, we have some evidence. So where's our EMF meter? Is it doing anything back there? Good. So I never know because this location is either, it's a hit or miss as far as the EMF. So spirit boxes, you guys can kind of stay roam free within the lot and kind of get those questions going. I do want to work with thermal imaging and the millimeter that you have specifically. So because there's a lot more detail and you guys will hear all that detail on the recordings anyway. So spirit boxes, go ahead and get started. Laser lights, you guys kind of have a gist on what you guys are doing. So taking pictures, lasers down one at a time, don't cross the streams. So Ghostbusters joke and nobody got it. Okay, cool.
So basically, she's just going to be shining the light down on the ground and I'm just going to be following her? And...
Yeah, pretty much. So you're going to stand maybe 3 to 5 feet away from her and taking pictures through. Don't point the camera down. I don't care about the dots on the ground. I know what those look like. I want something going through it. So you literally want to kind of hold that camera at waist level and shoot straight right through the laser. So in case something passes by, we'll have it on the camera. All right, so yeah, definitely have you stick with me too, so that way you can kind of get a gist of the camera.
I'm just going to leave our bag and then we're walking in circles and stuff, or what?
We're just going to hang out here for like 5 minutes, and then we're going to go learn some real history.
Okay, so it's okay if I leave my bag and walk it?
Yep.
Okay. I don't think anyone's going to steal it.
I don't think anybody's walking away from it. There's 12 of us here tonight. All right, so thermal imaging cam. So let's get this. As far as the antenna on that spirit box, just please keep in mind it will crack off. I've had that happen twice already. And let's talk about that thermal imaging cam.
Okay.
So this guy is going to, obviously, I bring you here on purpose. I wanted something that was really diverse for this particular device. You have metal, asphalt, the bricks, obviously, cars, those kind of things. You really want to try to keep somebody in view at all times. So go ahead and point your camera at the wall for me and tell me what you got. It kind of bleeds out, right? So watch what happens when my hand goes through it.
Yep.
So you should see everything behind it kind of change.
Yep.
And then it's going to bleed out again.
Yep.
You want to try to keep somebody's skin tone in there at all times. That way we get that fluctuation of color. There's a ton of us in this group.
Okay.
As far as what she's doing, you guys have different temperatures. These are not synced up. So what is your bottom number is the temperature. So what does your temperature read?
71.5.
And what do you have on your crosshairs?
72 to 80 something, depending on if I've got a person
It's dropping that to 70.
Okay.
with 75, 6.
So go ahead and point your laser down on the ground for me and tell me what temperature you have.
2, 1.
Is that dying? It looks like it's dying. Oh, here.
Oh, the screen's going crazy when I point it over here.
At times, I'll say, where's that night vision at? And then you break out that light. Yeah. But again, you should probably keep that in your place right now until we actually get more. Let's talk about your volume. This big number at the top of the measure will set all the lights that she has blinky. So when this goes past the that's when she
We said to try to keep somebody in this all the time. What are you getting over there if you pointed at the ground over there by Mommy? What about the blue ground right in front of Mommy? Look at the blue areas that are real cold going up the wall. That's pretty cool.
68.1.
Yep. Dude, there's a big cold spot, like right below us. Going back this way.
Yeah, that's where my,
Thing went nuts.
yeah.
Yeah. There's big, like right over behind you is warm, but then right through there is
Yeah.
really cold. Like it's 67 or so over there.
This thing is going crazy. I mean, like right here, it's going like crazy. And when he was doing that thermal imaging thing, and he said it's like a huge cold spot, like right here.
Well, it did get a little chillier over here, but it's almost like a wind pocket.
Okay, well, I'm just,
So, and that's where
I'm just
your
saying.
ambient comes into play. Like the backs of my arms are cold, but the front of them aren't. And I don't try to put my feelings in it. I see. I mean, that thing's going nuts. And again, this location and the next one, I can't explain it. Sometimes it's completely dead and does nothing. Other nights it's doing what you got going on right now.
because I walked all over through there and I got nothing, but right in here it lights up to red almost automatically.
And we're standing on a sewer line. And that's exactly what we're looking for. It goes up and then it goes away. Something broke that feed. So I would still hang out over here. Hey Maddie, bring your device over here. We need somebody that's going to give us some words back. So just so you know a little bit more about this guy, if you want to see the words we may have missed, or I say, hey, Maddie, what words did we get? up on the other ones because they've been in this corner for a few minutes.
What's supposed to ask?
You can basically ask just not any yes or no questions.
What happened during the earthquake? Barn Gray.
She's going yes or no.
What color is the barn?
As soon as you said something.
What color? What year was it? What's your name?
I'm concerned it's real quick. Everything is popping in my head's a yes or no.
What used to be located?
So, you'll need to get unique documents. But I was going to show you some things of what we've actually copied. So again, you're not going to be able to see it. I don't want to say this is a boring job, like while you're on it, but we don't know the evidence of it. If you see something in real time, you're not going to be able to see the camera in. You got to wait to turn the camera on. And it's going to be so fast, you're not going to be able to see it. Slowly. Yeah, slowly. Because without a flashlight, this thing can be blurry if you're in this. So that's why I say just kind of keep your camera raised up and just keep it, like, keep that camera still as you want.
What happened here?
What happened here?
Again, I know it's not like
Where's my bullet? Oh, yeah. Haven't been. Haven't been.
It's hard not to. That's what I told them. I keep doing it.
I just used
Whitney. Shoot the ground right there behind Maddie. What are you getting? To the left of Maddie. 66. Anyway.
Picked up what? 56?
66.
Oh, see, I'm only reading 68, 69 here anyway.
There's like right in here, there's an area on the ground that seems to be picking up colder than everything else.
Well, this thing is going absolutely bonkers right here.
Well, see, and he told me a lot of, like with this one, if I move.
Well, I'm not moving.
See, if I move, it triggers this one.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Mm-mm. See, you're right in that area he was seeing.
As far as the green ones go, this is lighting up once 3 times. That is the reason why I stuck with this one. Sometimes you'll get a bud that comes through and it looks like that. But you see the little extension on the arm there? That's what caught my eye. That little guy right there.
Could have
That's a
anything.
shape.
This is different.
So it's not just
Temperature
a
gradients.
little line. It's got some kind of substance to it. And again, obviously way.
I'm trying to do like you said and keep at least a person in the frame all the time. You see, watch when Maddie goes over this way.
Yeah.
See right through there, that big blue area that you were just in?
Yeah.
It doesn't go everywhere out here, but it's right in there.
Well, that's where
Yeah.
my meter's going haywire.
I don't know if that means there's a water line under there or if there's really something there.
It did say that right through here is going to be a sewage line.
Yeah.
Too. So it could be picking up.
Everybody have a gist of how the devices work? Yes. You guys ready to learn some real history now?
Sure.
All right, let's go this way. Can you get in this here?
I'll pick up my bag.
They got some numbers on the black spirit box that I might have to match up with hers. Some names that show up.
I'm glad we rested some.
Huh?
I'm glad we rested some because my feet would not be able to take this. That's where they were last time. So this is definitely different. Where did you find this one at?
Online.
Believe it or not, even on my one tour nights in the spring and summer, like by the time I work 12 hours a week, okay, let's just put it out there.
Okay.
I'm exhausted after I'm done with our groups. Like I'm back to the car and I literally just have to chill for a while.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot to keep up with all of you guys. So, all right, so let's get the spirit boxes and the REM pod so it's not making any noise because it may go off here. So again, I know another crazy parking lot, beautiful site of Charleston, right? In this gorgeous city, and I'm showing you our best parking spaces. So this used to be the home of Eliza and Charles Pinckney. This is where their mansion was. So if I were to have a grand finale, guys, this would be it. There is a ton that happens here. So let me give you a little bit of the history first. Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew were signers of our Constitution. Pretty big deal for us, but I hate politics, and I'm sure you guys don't want to talk politics on your vacation. We're going to talk about Eliza. Eliza, and this is a place where I'm not going to give you answers like what color is George Washington's white horse, so kind of look for those emphasized words of questions to ask. Eliza married Charles at a very young age. I'm not going to tell you what that age is. Because her father thought he was dying over in England. He wanted all of his kids home. She didn't want to go. This is mid-colonial times. So when she got married, it didn't give her citizenship. It just said, hey, Dad, I'm not going anywhere. So she was right, and Dad didn't die yet. So he starts sending over wedding gifts. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye, that makes our blue jeans blue. I don't think anybody, well, we got a couple blue jeans. That's how we still use it today. So Eliza was a botanist. She loved to experiment with plants. Her garden was right over by where those trees are and came over to where we're standing. The mansion was in the front, and then the slave and servant quarters were in the back. That's kind of the layout of this lot. So Eliza had to learn from her servants how to cultivate this indigo. She didn't know what to do with it yet. But our servants and slaves that we had here in Charleston came straight from the Gullah culture, straight from Africa, and they knew how to cultivate this plant in our weird temperatures. I just told you 2 weeks ago I was out here in gloves. So again, she had to keep it going. So once they made it a big cash crop, because our rice plantations were going downhill, they picked up her experiment and moved it to Snee Farm in Mount Pleasant. That's just north of here. Then she calls her dad and says, hey, I need some contacts to be able to sell this stuff. We're talking about a businesswoman in colonial times, the 1750s. No such thing as a businesswoman just yet. So I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg on some of the things that she's done, but there's a lot of weird things you can ask about her that she'll gladly answer if we can get it out of her. She was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. So what does that mean? Both Elizas went by their maiden name, and Chuck screwed up. So, both maiden names start with the initial L. These are not middle names, but maiden names. Sorry, kids, but I always have to emphasize what a maiden name is. So, you can ask what her maiden name was. You can ask what happened to the mansion. You can ask how old she was when she got married. You can ask anything you want to about her death. She's pretty open about it. How old she was, what did she die from, where did she die, where is she buried, and which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So, anybody in the group not know what a pallbearer is? We got some young kids here. So, pallbearer are the people that carry a coffin to the grave. Okay? She's like, yes, I knew that. I just didn't want to say I didn't. So, I pointed you out anyway. I called you out. So, it's pretty prominent when a president takes you to your grave. That means you're pretty damn important. So, if you're going to ask about her children, just stick to basic things. How many boys, how many girls, how many kids total. Don't ask about the lives of the children. If they want to come through, they'll come through, and I'll start to see some of those signals through the spirit boxes and things that we're seeing. The reason why I say only those things is because there's a tragedy among one of them, and if we poke too hard, all activity will stop. So just kind of keep that in mind. In this lot, we're going to spend a good 10 minutes. Lasers can set off car alarms. Okay, so be mindful of that. People get a little weird about their cars and their cameras, so just be kind of mindful of that. If people start coming by through their cars and you're filming their car, they're probably going to come screaming at me. So let's just kind of be mindful of people coming up to their cars. Oh, the light is blinking tonight. Awesome. Where's that EMF meter at? So, perfect. If you hold that up and that light is going the way that it is, it blinks a little bit, because it's a pretty weak light. It's kind of like whatever's happening here, and I don't like to use the word energy because it's very vague. Whatever's happening here is kind of influencing that light, and it'll usually match up with whatever the EMF meter is doing over there. Like you'll get a pulse, and then there'll be a pulse over there. Like it's almost in sync with each other. If you wanted to film it, by all means, it's usually within 2 frames on 12. I did it several times. Spirit boxes, this is a loud and proud moment. Turn them up as loud as you want to. Thermal imaging, nice layout of the land. I'm going to show you a video that was taken here once we all kind of disperse a little bit. Maddie, have we gotten any words since we've been standing here?
Not just angry over it.
Just anger over there still?
Oh, there was 2 over here.
2 angers?
Mm-hmm.
Really? I hope I didn't piss off Eliza. So a few weeks ago, I did get a disembodied EVP on your spirit box, and it said, "Please just leave us alone." Like, and when I say disembodied, means it was not a radio station. It went over 11 different stations. So again, it was very prominent. So I came back the next night and told Eliza and Charles, "I'm not leaving you alone. Keep giving me evidence. Sorry, this is a big place for me." And I kind of did my apology, and they've been fine since. So we'll kind of see what comes out of tonight. So I don't like the word anger.
asthma, stain, however, angry.
It's pretty prominent.
Cool.
Let's have some fun
What's
in
coming
here.
through?
Help Dad out.
Cheese.
Maybe he'll let
Cheese.
You all right.
After me.
He's playing up too.
14 feet up.
Nice.
It's been taking like 0.7 whole
And then it's been fucked up. You can probably bring your grandpa up here.
Here we go.
Let me show you a quick video on something we actually caught here. So this is that wall up there.
Okay.
See all this orange? And I was, you'll see somebody here, always in view. This is somebody in my party. Let me rewind. Sorry, I like to point out that there's somebody walking by, living past the wall. You can see just their heads right there. So we're gonna fast forward. Love Facebook. And then you're gonna see 2 dead people going the opposite way past the wall. Kind of gives you a better gist of what you're looking for. In a few seconds to bring the line back up. It's gonna be right about there. You guys see the 2 black dots that went past the wall?
Yeah.
And this guy here, his skin temp was always there.
Yeah.
I've had this tested with firemen and mechanics that use this. They can't make any heads or tails of it either. We went through it
Say
frame
I'm
by
used to
frame.
using thermal.
Are you?
Yeah.
And we've gone through it frame by frame.
I was a fireman for 12 years, so I'm real familiar with those. Yeah.
Cool. It's funny because I can normally spot you guys out, and you're usually the first ones that get it. I'm usually real good about that. So,
It's been a few years.
all right. So I mean, you never fully use it in this one.
No.
But
Walk out in front of me. You can just keep walking around. Not really. Not like the video he saw. He had a neat video over there where you could see people standing there. You could see two black shadows that were clearly cold walking by.
Huh.
But he says with this to always try to keep somebody's body part in it.
how's she doing with that spirit box up here? Taking some up. See how much damage we can take. Make it go green? Like my little cheerleader thing for them over there? Is that what you're saying?
Well, we're just trying to figure out if we're doing the right thing. All I'm doing is
And part of this is. So when I do
That's
No idea.
her. That's him. What is that?
I don't know. What?
What this way?
Go this way.
There's something really cold over here.
Okay.
It dropped to 63 or something. 61.3.
I need you to get out in front of me because I don't have a body out there. It's just like 67 or so all around you.
It doesn't say 67 on this.
Yeah.
That's 64 over there. Then it goes over here. And big blob. This thing is her head. It's like a big blob wrapped around her.
There's 64 all over there, and then there's just 61.
Mm-hmm.
That
That's
isn't
why I
good.
record everything so I know when and
But
where to look. I have to match the time.
that thing's not setting that off.
If my cell phone or any of our electronics were making that thing go off, you would literally be right here.
So, I mean, the whole time he was doing that, I was holding it up, and it was like that.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah, good stuff.
So they did the whole Liza step away thing again. She went back down. He was chiming off over there like you did. Same thing again.
It gets really cold over there. It got to 61, and all around to 64.
Really?
It got to
'Cause it was pretty warm today. Normally, like when you have like cement like that, it'll hold the heat. So if you were pointing it at the wall, it was cool.
It wasn't at the wall, it was at the ground. But like,
So the ground is a little different because if you look at the camera, you'll see different patches all over the ground because some parts are kind of wet, they have mud underneath them, other are just all gravel. So it's a little different with the ground. So it's not surprising that the ground may have been a different temperature, but it is a little breezy tonight. I can't wait to see the black spot you guys caught. Like that's
Oh,
exciting
y'all
stuff.
caught one?
Yeah. So I caught a big blob going over one of the ladies over here. Pretty awesome.
Well, your mom's sometimes hard to understand.
I'm the one that's asking.
How you are too.
Eliza, what crop did you grow? So should I take pictures even if you have the laser gun, or do you have
And that's where we get another young lady with the light. If we wanted to get some
Whitney,
like night light. Wendy,
bring your light over here.
bring that light over here. Let's get some night lights going on. So, did you feel the Velcro softness on the bottom?
Yeah.
This actually has Velcro attached to it. It just doesn't like to stay. So we're gonna shine that green light pretty low, and we're gonna maybe go out a little bit, and I would try to get some pictures going out that way, like just so that you can see if anything. You guys have some activity.
Color change. What's that moving away like? There it goes. 4.2. 18. As soon as you said it was that way, it lit up. Keep anything. What, baby? Well,
One thing about that specific app, I don't think that wasn't part of my original. I had
He's got Maddie on the perfect job. He's got Maddie on the perfect job. This guy's cool. I don't know if we're gonna find anything.
he was really excited about that blob
Yeah.
he found.
I need to change shoes, but I didn't bring one pair of shoes. You hold that for a second. Take time to shoe. Picking anything?
Any other black wall coming up? That was pretty good.
Got to follow
That was
that.
pretty good.
Charles. You think Charles? This is Elijah can dig it like a blue up to the real with
The
Charles.
thing is all dark right there.
Look, Charles, there you go.
Yeah.
Charles, do you not like us being here?
Yes,
Oh.
Yeah, remember?
ask him his birthday.
Charles, when's your birthday?
6.7. 6.8. 16.
Eliza, who sent you the indigo?
And it's holding 16 up there.
What did I just say?
I could throw what it said.
It sounded like my father.
Never fit. Nan's playing Zach Brown. That's good. Look.
Eliza, who
It's
just
44.8.
Got the camera on us.
Back to 1.8.
Eliza?
17.9.
who taught you how to use the indigo?
South Carolina. It's kind of hard not to get that
Yeah,
down.
there's certain things you'll see. Like I won't even.
Eliza,
Direct commercials.
how many children did you have?
It said diamonds. No, it didn't.
Just had to pick it up.
Who are you?
All right, you want to round up your party? We're gonna go back over to this next room and get my party. Next one, bag of these.
See, you'd never know this is worth a Pinckney estate.
Yeah. I try to get specific colors out of it. All right, so we got lots to talk about. I first want to know where we're at on the word list. Do we get anything else extra, Maddie? She wants me to read it, everybody, because she doesn't talk much. So I'm excited about the word Senate. Why? Because Charles was a governor. So I'm excited. That's about the only thing I see on here. But again, when I look at the list as a whole the next morning, hopefully something else will pop out at me. We did catch like a black blob on the camera, so I definitely need to look at that in the morning. I don't stop the film to re-roll it back, and I always look at it the next morning. So we have audio markers for me to check out, and that way I can go back to it and kind of see what's going on there. That's really exciting stuff. Again, just nice to have it the ready. We have probably, what, a good 100 pictures in this location? So I got lots to go through there. Ladies, what did you guys hear?
We heard basic consultation.
We heard 15%, which
Okay.
is like 15. Conditions, what else? Tell me about you.
We think.
We heard tell me about, and then we heard you.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Was that a specific question that you got the answer I know? No? Okay.
That's
All right.
about it.
Now on to the good stuff. we had all kinds of things happen with this REM pod by asking questions and asking Charles and Eliza to get closer and then walk away, and we were able to get a direct response. So that's really cool. Like, again, they have to get pretty close in order for them to be able to respond that way. They asked, who was the pallbearer at your funeral? And the answer was?
Washington.
George Washington. Correct answer. Holy cow. So, like I was telling Paul, still got it. So, I told Paul, I didn't even know that fact until I had that EVP show up twice in 1 week. And it wasn't just Washington or George, it was George Washington. I'm like, there's got to be a link. Started Googling. Bingo, bango, there it is. George Washington was the pallbearer. What was the other answers that you guys had? Oh, Charles, the name Charles came through, so that's really cool. So, and the word Senate. So I usually get excited when something links up, so that definitely makes sense. Here's the other answers that we did not get. So the mansion burned down. So did you guys hear anything about fire, smoke, anything like that? And that was in 1861, long after Eliza's death and Charles's death. But again, it was still in the family. Eliza was 70 years old when she died in Philadelphia from breast cancer, and that's also where they buried her. If that tells you, at least gives you the answer of why we don't go visit cemeteries on the Stories in the Cemetery tour. If you were dead, are you going to hang out where you're buried? Probably not. You're going to go to places you love like this. So this was usually my definitive answer for that. We already know that George Washington was the pallbearer, but the breast cancer bit, this was 1793 when she died. We didn't even know what breast cancer was yet, so we're going based off her medical records. So again, the word cancer shows up here. I've even had breast cancer show up as an answer before. Eliza was 22 when she married Charles, who was 45. It's a big age gap. So 23 years. So I usually get the number 22 or 23 here, because there was 23 years between them. 4 children, Charles, Thomas, baby George that didn't make it, and then Harriet. So 3 boys, 1 girl. What else? Eliza Lucas Pinckney was the one that planted the indigo. Eliza Lamb Pinckney was the insignificant first wife. So Lamb and Lucas are the 2 names I was looking for there. So again, I've had all of these answers come up multiple times, or else I wouldn't be asking you to kind of poke at Eliza and Charles to get this kind of stuff. Obviously the Washington bit, super excitable. You guys heard me cheerleading. I don't normally do that because I'm not Zach Bagans. So we're gonna walk up East Bay Street about 4 blocks. So it is a no laser zone for sure, and it includes the laser guns because we don't want to be blinding cars. Keep filming on the thermal imaging. Your EMF's going to go crazy because of the parking meters and the crosswalks, especially at the crosswalks. The electrical lines for that are underneath the sidewalks, just so you know. Again, I don't like to give you guys false hope. So if your EMF even goes off, it's the same principle. We're going to get some pictures before we walk into the alley. Spirit boxes, listen for names. So I'll explain why the names when we get there. I don't want to give you any Washington's white horse kind of thing. So again, I'll kind of give you the explanation why once we get to Lodge Alley. So we have Lodge Alley that we're going to pass through. We'll stop for a brief moment. It is a quiet area, so we don't stay there very long. So we just pass through it. We cut through a neighborhood where I'm not allowed to go, and then we kind of learn some legends and lore, and then we have one full huge investigation just like this one at the very end at the Powder Magazine, and there's a big, big story there. So I've been getting lots and lots more of that. So hopefully our luck continues with the amount of evidence we're getting. Questions, comments, concerns? Guys, this is turning out to be a great investigation, and I'm not just saying that. If you guys listen to my other tours, because I don't hide anything, you'll see like, all right, we're going to go, and this is what's going to happen. But this is, I'm excited. We got a lot of cool stuff, especially on that thermal imaging. It's a big deal. All right, grab your stuff, and let's roll. Watch the rock.
Oh, that's cool. Well, that's cool that we went to the Powder Magazine today. What's the bump?
He pick you guys out.
It's the beer.
Well, he ain't seen my beer. He said, usually I pick you guys out. It's supposed to be a little while. He said, still.
Did we tell you cold open the answer how many check her? She's a baby.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a baby.
I thought it was
No, that's I was.
Named after himself. We're gonna cut through here.
Absolutely.
Go right ahead.
Pardon us, no problem. How are you tonight?
Good, man. How are you?
You be careful. I said, you be careful. This is not good for your ankle.
I don't want to block it, so I'll kind of put you guys on this side. Kind of like when we began execution style. We're going to be here like 5 minutes. First off, did you hear any names on the spirit boxes? Nothing at all. The reason why I asked that is because this alley used to be residential. So when you guys crossed over that last crosswalk, that's when you're inside the original Charlestown walls. So this would have been one of the first streets we ever had. So the wall was also across the street that way. We're going to get more layout of that as we kind of roll along because I talk a lot about it. So So the people that lived here, I have the full list of all the names and their occupations. This would have been from 1790 all the way through 1865. Not many people. The names I normally get are Benjamin and John. And what's ironic about that is there's only 5 people that lived here in 1801. 2 of them were Benjamin and John. I usually hear Johnson. John's last name was Johnson. So it's almost like they want to keep telling me more, but there's no information on these 2 guys other than their name and the dates that they lived here. That's it. It's just ironic that they keep showing that. It's like when they tell me something, I just can't prove it, if that makes any sense. The Masons also used to live here, so I get the word Mason a lot. There's a Masonic lodge down here before residentials. But if you get a weird light anomalies on the camera, we get all kinds of things that show up here. I think that covers it. They did do an archaeological dig on these bricks. They found some of their clothing and tools and stuff and the people that lived here, and they kind of consider them lower class. And if you think about it, the tide would have been over there. The smell of low tide coming through here often would have been really bad, especially when there's only shotgun houses, lining the street, because these 2 buildings aren't here. So it makes complete sense. So there's a lot of stuff that happens down here. This is where I just kind of skim over your data and see if anything kind of matches up. If names show up or specific years or titles, I would definitely give you that backlink to show you where I got all that information. So, and it's all in one giant report, which is a crazy thing. It's like 150 pages. But I'll give you a specific page to go to. Very cool. Am I wearing you out back there?
No, my back is starting to hurt.
Oh, sorry, but we got a little bit more walking to do.
That's fine.
She's fine.
Okay. He's like, don't worry about her. She's good. We'll carry her for you. So we're going to be heading through a neighborhood. Again, tour guides aren't allowed to be tour guides in neighborhoods. So we're just going to be 12 people just kind of passing through. So we get to the next portion where it's kind of like the legends and lore. And that's where you're going to see, probably, if you guys are already taking ghost tours down here, you've probably already been through that area. I'm just going to give you a different outlook on it, of what them guys do, because I've taken their tours too. So we're ghost hunting. Let's go find some more. What do you think?
I think if I used to do that again, not to do that with my riding.
Okay. Easier to walk back in the regular street.
Yeah. Yeah, my back feels better on this street. I just had to sit down and get all those rocks. Good.
I'm gonna take a little shower tonight.
You smell stunk.
No, it's no trash from back there.
It's the second time I smell the stunk.
I do smell garbage.
No, it was a completely skunk smell.
I don't like to blow smoke in people's faces.
It's funny, we end up at the same places over and over again.
Uh-huh.
How's your back?
Oh, it's much better. Walking on that cobblestone was.
That is hard. Yeah.
I go through a lot of shoes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That
Once we
is
got
hard
on
to
the
walk on.
flatter, it didn't hurt. It was just like.
Yeah, it's a lot. So, and again, I have to rotate them out. I got like 6 pair of tennis shoes that I go through. I have some that are, you know, because these are mesh, and I want, because it gets a lot of water down here. So I have to watch the rain. If it's raining that day, I have to make sure it's a solid pair. All right, so this is a very popular area, as you guys can see. We're starting to run into other tours. So, did everybody notice the beautiful alley that we passed? You guys know that there's a crazy ghost story down there, and I'm not allowed to take you down there, but I tell the story anyway. So, that is called Philadelphia Alley. It used to be called Duelers Alley, because that's where all of the duels would occur for Charleston. So, if you guys turn around and notice there's a doorway in that wall back there, right in the center, that is because when there was a death during a duel, that's where the dead guy would come through. His friends would pick him up, they would carry him over to this courtyard, take him over to St. Philip's Cemetery, drop the body, and go celebrate the win. Kind of how that went. But the story of that particular alley, we all told the story of one particular duel that occurred there, because with what we do with the ghost hunting, there's a lot of evidence that comes out of it. And I stopped telling the story when I stopped going through there, but I've been getting more evidence that ties to it, so I'm going to continue. Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd moved down here from Rhode Island. He was supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and the attorney handling that money said, "You're not getting married yet. Send the doctor away, let's see if he's just after your money." So he comes down to Charleston to start his practice. The coachman that brings him into town, kind of like our bike taxis, set him up to be robbed and killed. Not a very good start to Charleston. Somebody walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs, saw what was going on and said, "Let me take you somewhere safe." He takes him to 59 Church Street, or on Church Street. He takes him up that way, nice safe place to live. The two become friends. The doctor's practice starts to take off. And Amanda's going to be coming down soon. He's making lots of money. He's doing pretty well. He becomes known as the whistling doctor because he whistled all the time. So him and Ralph were friends. They used to go see plays together, but the doctor got better seats because he makes more money, just based on the hierarchy here in Charleston. So they couldn't talk about the plays during the play. They did it on the way home. I know, this is a long one. I'm sorry.
No, we've had a long time.
I know, vacationers. I get it. So they're talking about the play on the way home. They go see William III. The doctor loves the new actress that's in town. Ralph does not. They start arguing. Turns into an insult party on the doctor's fiance back home. Obviously, they get pissed off at each other and they go their separate ways. Now, Ralph is from here. Calls the newspaper. Not literally. Talking 1800. No problem. Calls him up and says, "Hey, let's put an ad in the paper about what a disgrace the doctor is to the city." The doctor sees the ad because it's all about him, and he calls him out and says, "Let's go to Duelers Alley and settle this." So they come down here. They take the 20 paces. They turn. The doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to end the argument, make a point. Ralph still has one shot. He takes it out on the kneecap on the doctor. So he didn't die. He didn't come through the death gate. His friends pick him up and they carry him a mile away to his house, 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later. Now, they say as you walk through the alley, which by the way is our most beautiful spot in all of Charleston, day or night, it's the most quiet, peaceful place we have. You guys hear all the hustle and bustle. But they say you can hear the whistles from the doctor. So this is another place to hear the audio piece. I do get a lot of weird pictures. I get words on the digital spirit box that say Brown, because of Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He also wrote poetry about his time that he lived here, so I get a lot of words wrapped around writing. His sister's name has come up. She's the one who published the book after his death. I get all kinds of things. So this is where I listen to the recordable spirit box pretty close to see what's coming up there. and of course, whatever is coming up on that word list. Do we have anything? What did it say? Aggression. It's not necessarily something I can prove because the doctor really wasn't aggressive.
He had, when we were walking up through here, it said stabbed Dylan.
Yeah. Kind of see that. These were gunshot. Like those kind of things. So, again, I'll take a look through the list in the morning and kind of see what comes up out of it. So we're next to St. Philip's Church. As you guys noticed, the big steeple, the pictures we took through the alley. By the way, the steeple is off just a little bit from the earthquake I told you guys about earlier. All of these ghost tours all tell the same story up there. They make it a big dramatic thing. I'm going to give it to you in about 2 minutes because it's very simple. There's a cemetery right there at the corner. There's a sign inside there that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. They don't want guys like me taking pictures and filming, looking for apparitions, because there was one actually caught there. There was a young, did you guys all hear this story? Okay, you guys did. So Nettie Dickers, or Sue Howard Hardy, died 6 days after her stillborn child. So 1987, local photographer's taking pictures of all the, sorry, I have to remember all these years for you guys. He's taking pictures. He gets a full apparition of a woman wearing a shawl with a baby basket next to her, right next to the grave. There's no Photoshop or cell phones or anything like that. They can't debunk the picture. It sends it to Kodak to get it debunked, and they can't debunk it either. So the apparition is out there. However, it's cursed. I don't show the picture on my tour. Females that hold it, not going to have a good day. You're going to get a lot of the same symptoms I told you about back at Big John's. Pregnant females, you're not going to have a good pregnancy. You can imagine I'm a very superstitious person based on what I do for a living. So you want to look up the picture. Her name is Sue Howard Hardy. If I call her Susan, she usually corrects me on one of the spirit boxes and says Sue somewhere. So it's an interesting thing, but you should also know there's 2 sides to the cemetery. This side is for native Charlestonians, that side's for everybody else. Your 17th Vice President, Calhoun, he's over there. They couldn't figure out where the hell he was supposed to go. They picked up his sarcophagus and moved him a couple of times until they figured out he's not from here. He's on the other side. You can visit him during the daytime. There is a, man, we got a lot of large groups tonight. You guys see all the flaming gas lamp in the distance? That is the Pirate House. It is somebody lives there. It's residential. So don't go in his backyard. He gets angry. Don't ask me how I know. So making sure everybody's paying attention. It's called the Pirate House because that's where Blackbeard men used to come off their ships and have a few drinks. And they would meet with some girls. And the cool thing about that place is there used to be a tunnel from the Pirate House over to Dock Street Theater. And they would actually go over there for work, and they had prostitution there. So you can imagine all the things that happened while he was, one of those people were there. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it PG. We got teenagers here. So let's go look into our final investigation. Everybody rested up? Yeah? You guys ready to go? All right, we're going to cut right across the street and talk about the building over here.
Go.
Sorry, when there's more than 10, I gotta really look, make sure. Normally don't have more than 10.
Oh, that's what I was just talking about.
Alright, so we are going to be talking about this building over here with the crosses on it. First off, those aren't crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. Earthquake bolts, I told you about our big earthquake. We got a big scare here, so what did they do? They started putting these, I thought we lost somebody.
She was trying to take a picture where I told you they saw that one.
So earthquake bolts, the gist of those is that it's a metal rod, like a turnbuckle, that goes either through the roof of a building or through every floor. The building behind it's an apartment building, and you can see the earthquake bolts when you get closer. But those, the gist of it is, if we have an earthquake and the building gets shook up again, you tighten up that turnbuckle and it stands the building straight back up again. That's the whole gist behind it. Those are the very first earthquake bolts that we put up in Charleston. When you get close to them, you'll see how crude they are. So that's the powder magazine. It actually held gunpowder for 7 different wars. Not from start to finish, gunpowder was moved. Told you guys about the Charlestown Wall. That must be really dry. Boy,
Yeah.
to death. The Charlestown Wall actually came up this street right here and went up about half a block past the powder magazine. So it's literally tucked into the corner, 3 blocks away from the water. So if it were to get attacked, those are 35-inch thick walls. If the cannonball actually makes it through and explodes the gunpowder inside, there's sand in the roof from 1712. It's supposed to go in the air and then fall to put out the flames of the gunpowder. That shit don't work. It's a great idea, but in theory, it just doesn't work. How do I know that? Because we had another powder magazine near the battery, which is down towards the end of the peninsula, much closer to the water. It got penetrated, the sand fell, couldn't put out the fire, the whole building burned to the ground. This is the oldest government building we have on the East Coast. Government building. We have older buildings here in Charleston, just not government buildings. So 1713 was when this was finished, but it took about a decade for it to build it. The story I have actually comes in the middle of the time frame of this being built. Because again, the age of it is what ties it. 1708, 1709, a young lady moves here from Ireland with her dad and his mistress, which happened to be her mother. They moved here from Ireland to get away from the angry wife. That's a pretty pissed off wife you gotta move halfway across the world to get away from. So, I seen the tap on the shoulder over there. There's an inside joke somewhere. So, anyway, the young lady, her name is Anne Cormack. So, by the time this building's finished, she becomes a teenager. We have pirates coming through town. She falls in love with one of them. His name is James Bonney. James Bonney, obviously, is a pirate. Dad doesn't approve. She runs away to Jamaica with this fella, and they get married. She's now Anne Bonney for the rest of her days. Obviously, Dad does not approve of this filthy pirate. James is not the pirate she hoped he was going to be. She wanted that Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp kind of mentality. He was a privateer, which basically made him a spy for the British on his own men. So he was a coward. So she fell in love with another pirate. His name was John Calico Jack Rackle. Calico Jack, as we're going to call him moving forward, right? I told you, Jack Sparrow. So she wanted the Calico Jack, and he was a new and upcoming pirate. He had his own ship, and she wanted to be part of it. So she asked her new beau if she can be part of the crew. He said, sure, but you got to dress like a male because females curse pirate ships. You can be a female on my quarters. So she agrees. She's good with that. So obviously being a female in the quarters, she eventually gets pregnant. What's he do? He drops her off in Cuba to go have the baby. She can't be pregnant on the crew. Everybody will know that there's a female on the ship. So he says, have the baby, come back, we'll figure it out. She comes back, there's no baby. We don't know what happened to the baby. She's dressed like a female, but she no longer gives a damn about hiding her gender. Jack is mad. So she's decided she's going to go down below deck and start flirting with the pirates that he just captured. She starts flirting with a young fella, and he reveals his gender as a female, dressed like a male, just like she was. Two obviously become friends. That was guy number 3, by the way. So we went through James, Jack, and now Mary Reed. So Mary Reed and Anne Bonney become friends. She invites Mary to become part of the crew. She agrees. The British decide to attack their ship. All the other pirates are too drunk down below deck to fight back. So it's literally Anne Bonney and Mary Reed above deck fighting back against the entire British fleet. You think they won? They did not. They get taken. The whole pirate crew down below deck is tried and hung pretty quickly for piracy. Anne Bonney and Mary Reed dress up like guys again, and then they go to court. The judge wants to see them separately. His name was Nicholas Laws. So, because they were the only two that fought back, he wanted to see who were these brave pirates. They reveal their gender. He says, I don't care that you're female. I'm still going to try and hang you for piracy. Then they pled their bellies, which both means that they said that they were pregnant. He said, okay, we'll delay your hanging, but you're still being convicted of piracy. So that was November 28, 1720. Dad's still here in Charleston. He bails Anne Bonney out and brings her back home. From there, there's rumors all over. Say she got remarried, had 4 kids, died at the age of 84. Some say she stayed here, some say that she moved to Virginia. Again, lots of holes in this story. This is a spot where you get to ask whatever questions you want. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. So use your imagination. There's really not much on Mary's life from there. There's a lot about her early life, but as far as Anne Bonney goes, it's all about the time frame. This was 1720, and she got here about 1708. So again, let's ask a million questions. We can definitely play with that REM pod. Lasers, if you guys want to go to the front of the building, you can. Just make sure your lasers don't go above those roofs. You'll shine them on the apartments and making a lot of trouble. Same thing with the thermal imaging. If you want to go up there and kind of get a view of the front yard, you can. But spirit boxes, most of your activity is going to happen as we get closer to the side of the building here. So most other tours like to go to the front of the building and kind of hang out there. That's why I like the lot. That's why we can be free a little bit. EMF, if you get anything here, I would love to know. For that particular device, this is a dead zone. So when
I was
you
gonna
get,
say it hasn't done anything.
and not everything's going to be the Pinckney Mansion site.
Yeah.
So if you do get something, that's usually because something happened somewhere else. And that's the same thing with you on the REM pod. I've gotten things here just a few nights ago, actually, on the REM pod here. But spirit boxes, this is your chance to shine. Get me some words, get me some phrases. I'll see if I can't match them up to whatever legend I have. And there's multiple. I've read tons of books on this young lady. And I only gave you the facts that were common throughout all the books. So again, there's so much information, but none of it matches up. So let's try to get some answers.
Maybe you can answer a question I had because we were here last night. Why are the apartments on the front side of that house have tinfoil on their covering all of their windows?
I don't know.
I was just curious.
Answer your question.
Because we were standing on the other side looking at them, and I was like, why do they have tinfoil? Because if you go on the front side, it's all,
Well, this is the front side.
well, I mean, if you go around, yeah. Hot windows. Because I was like, why do they have tinfoil there?
Because if you look, those windows are much shorter, and we have tall ceilings, so that would probably be considered an attic area. Probably
Okay.
storage.
Well, I just wondered because it has air conditioning
Yeah.
on one side, and I just thought, okay.
Open air conditioning on the second.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was a different apartment. And I was like,
Because this is a museum,
yeah.
so you probably have some of those stock here, books and stuff like that. Welcome to spring break, everybody.
Spring break post-COVID.
Yep. Now this summer, I mean, I'm already turning people away. I get people calling me all the time, you got any room for 2 or 3 more? Nope. I'm maxed out, sorry. It's crazy. And I want to say there's a garbage can up here if you need to throw away your cup. I don't know if you're saving that. So you're carrying it around. I know I gave you a lot to do.
Yeah, it's me again, Mike.
Fired right back
It's
up.
almost like a surge.
Yep. And it was already on the floor. That's the funny thing. Because you got to hit 3 buttons to get to the floor. It's stuff I can't explain.
What was Anne's mother's name? Did you get anything?
Not really. Let's walk around to the front of the building. Gotta go out. There's too many people out here. Go back in. Looks like there weren't a zillion people out here. But it'll be cool to see what he comes back with. Brittany. Let's walk over to the front of the building, Whitney. Hey Whitney, just walk back and forth. I don't think I'm getting anything over here.
Every tree I've looked at.
Come on, Maddie.
I'm at 1.7 right here.
That orange one is flickering with the light.
Guys are moving. Yeah, no. No, he said, the red one, the old guy, he said the other week he was in here, the damn thing died. He went and ran and bought a nose. He thought it was what wrong. Went back to work.
Yeah, that was a crazy night.
You said what, the thermal imager that flashed white on? The thermal imager flashed white and died.
It was weird. And it was just over the person holding that spirit box. sorry, I always say the other tours. I'm that guy. They're not big fans of me at all.
Who's that?
The other tours, they all work with big companies, most of them. So I get in their way, we're noisy. They're not. I do things differently. I get it.
Those turnbuckle guns always.
No, you
I
get
don't
up
know
here
that
and
they
it
work
goes.
even. I know that they have in California.
Well, what I was told was, like I said, we dealt with them a lot with the fire department. Was they said not so much about tightening them up as it was just to keep the structural support. Like if you saw a house with those on it, don't go in them. Because in a case of fire, it was going to collapse on you.
You work with the powder magazine?
And we still put them up. I mean, look at that apartment building. I meant to look up what this building used to be. Did you guys see like how the bricks changed?
Mm-hmm.
And I know it was like 4 or 5 different types of businesses connected to the powder magazine. Like it was a mercantile and textile at one point. It was a communications building.
Yeah, that's what they told us. Ones like that, that's what it's for. It's where it's had structural damage, and they put those in to support it. They said in case of fire, it won't hold. It's good for living in, but it won't hold under fire.
Crazy.
Because we've got a lot of historic buildings up where we're at, and that's what they always tell you. They said, you see those on the building, don't go in. Stay on the outside and do it, because if you go inside, it ain't gonna hold.
Craziness. All right, let's gather everybody up. We'll see what we captured, and then we'll get this party wrapped up. What do you guys think?
Okay.
I'm really, really excited to see what you guys caught at the Pinky Mansion site. That thermal imaging, again, it's not always the biggest piece of evidence. It's usually all the spirit boxes. But when you guys tell me you got something, I'm excited. So, what did we hear here? Do we have any words on the list? Did we hear anything on the boxes? What do we got?
My heart is so broken when we asked about the husbands.
What did you get?
We asked how many husbands did you have, and it said, my heart is so broken.
Interesting. Keep in mind, her affair with Calico Jack, she was still married to James Bond.
Oh.
Jack tried to buy off the dowry to James, and he refused it.
Oh.
She was still Anne Bonny. All right, any other terms that came up on the spirit boxes? Anything on the digital list, Maddie? Anything over there?
Of course, no, mean, tool, happy, shirt, Europe, stimulus, Brad,
Stimulus.
dress.
Europe sticks out, and mean sticks out. They say that Anne had a mean streak, that she actually stabbed
Mirror?
her own mirror. Well, that actually is tied to another story. So, did you guys see that brick building over there? That shows up here all the time. The only reason I'm going to tell you what happened to that. That used to be called Dawson's Restaurant. If I were to start a Stories in the Cemetery shop, it would be there. So I can have the haunted hotel up above it and the shop down below. But anyway, the mirrors fall off the walls in that place, and they don't break. In my experience with mirrors, because I do use stuff that's not electronic, that's kind of a portal. So when something's coming through it, it kind of holds it together, and it's strong enough where it's making it fall off the wall, but not breaking. So that place is haunted. The doors don't stay shut or locked. All kinds of things happen in that building. I want it. I just don't have $2 million to buy it. So, all right. So I'm going to start collecting the tools. You guys can ask me a million questions. I'm pretty excited, especially about the beginning of the things that we caught at the Pinky Mansion. The Washington, the Charles, the blob on the thermal. And I'll have to obviously go through the list and see what we got going on there. Unfortunately, my wife, who works at Best Buy, got me all new cases, and they have to go in a specific order. So, thermal imaging. Thank you, sir. All one video.